one question you can ask a seller that's very helpful is say, hey, so tell me, what do you know about business valuations? The moment that they say nothing, you are now the authority. Here's the deal. I can get much closer to that valuation that you're asking for, but I can't do it through bank financing. But I can do it if we work on it directly and you finance the business.
I want to go back to what you said. Someone that has no skill sets, maybe they're 20, 21 years old, right? And maybe they're watching this, maybe they've watched some of your videos like, man, I really want to get into this, but I don't have nothing to offer. What steps can they take when it comes to creating our buy box, right? Should we be setting the expectations of going after these bigger companies, or how do we overcome that obstacle?
Kind of depends, right? So I don't think you just go after a larger company because the smaller ones don't have their books in order. Instead, I think you learn how to use that as leverage to get a better deal. Yes, that's what I would do. Part of it comes down to just education, right? So one question you can ask a seller that's very helpful is say, hey, so tell me, what do you know about business valuations? The moment that they say nothing, you are now the authority.
Oh, wow.
Right? So there's a second strategy called blaming the bank. So in real estate, it's very simple to understand this concept because most people that you deal with have done a real estate transaction. And you can just say, listen, when you do a real estate transaction, the buyer's only being lent money by the bank to meet the appraised value. The bank is not going to lend more than the appraised value to the buyer to buy your house. Right? That's a common understanding. Businesses is the exact same way. And this is what I would say. This is not the type of transaction, nor is anybody who's going to buy your business going to come and just pull cash out of their wallet. People finance transactions like this just like they finance houses. Yeah. Same concept as real estate. I can only pay you as much as the bank will lend me on the business, right? So to do a proper valuation for what the bank says your business is worth is not going to match the number that you're asking for. That's the first part of it, right? It's pretty easy. It's a logical bridge to help them understand it, not in a condescending or a way of attacking them, but just helping them understand the concept, right? And they're like, okay, that makes sense, right? So here's how you can go from there. You can transition from the financed option to a annuity deal like seller financing with this next concept, right? We teach a lot of this stuff, and I teach a lot of this stuff directly, and it's very effective, right? So the next thing is, I understand you want this much for your business. I've already told you based off the numbers we looked at that the bank's not going to see that number. It's not going to happen. There's a couple reasons why. You're really involved in the business still. If you had the business running like a clock without you being there, really raises the value. Next thing is there's a lot of expenses that probably aren't necessary that we're going to have to add back on the valuation because business owners pay for their lifestyle through their business. Several other reasons, right? Here's the deal. I can get much closer to that valuation that you're asking for, but I can't do it through bank financing. But I can do it if we work on it directly and you finance the business. And I can go over what that would look like. So that's a great transition, right?
Yeah. So let's back up a little bit, right? I want to go back to what you said. Someone that has no skill sets, maybe they're 20, 21 years old, right? And maybe they're watching this, maybe they've watched some of your videos like, man, I really want to get into this, but I don't have nothing to offer. What steps can they take to get things in motion and get into this?
Well, there's two things. One, I always go back to the one thing is demand. What do business owners want? And I would start really diving in and learning those skills because no one can take those skills from you. Like if you learn how to really help someone become more profitable using the revenue they already have, and you niche into learning how to lean out of business, it's a great skill to have. Every business owner needs it. If you learn how to make it rain and you're a digital marketing guy and you can produce really, really good high quality leads consistently for any business, and you specialize in lead generation and paid ads, it's a great skill to have. Everyone needs it. If you learn how to convert higher conversion rates on sales and you get really, really good at the customer experience and trying to raise revenue with the same number of leads, it's always a demand. There's always demand for that skill. If you're really, really good at breaking people into new markets or creating new offers, like things that business owners need to get them to the next level, that's the best thing to do is focus on all those skills. The second way you can do it is you can find a retiring owner who has no heirs. A lot of times they're not necessarily wanting to sell. They want some sort of buyout, but they also will transition the business to you if you're the right candidate. There's a lot of people out there that are looking for someone to mentor for a couple years and then give them their legacy. So imagine somebody has no kids, no family, They don't have a key employee that they've really, have an emotional attachment to, and maybe their business isn't super sellable. You can come and take over that business and become their owner of that business. There's all kinds of people that do that all the time. And what we see nowadays, which is so interesting, is people your age and my age, and even in the, let's just say like late 40s and down, a lot of them don't want to take over mom and dad's business because we have our own path and we went and did this instead. Or there's this non-traditional job market that the whole world's fascinated with, and they'd rather ride for Uber and make money on their own terms, which a lot of them make good money, rather than go and have all the responsibility of the family business. Some people don't like the nature of the family business. And this leaves people who may not be positioned to sell, but they're looking to hand their business off to somebody else. It allows you to step in and take over that role. Yeah. So it's a relationship game.